Hey, JR, move! This is the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman, the podcast that deals with the early life of J.R. Hendrick. Here in a narrated format, this episode is called J.R. Helplessly Pulled Under. Okay, so here's what's happened. At another joint internship week, Daddy sent us on to his office to get us another assignment. U.S. Small Business Administration. And the Department of Commerce. What kind of would kind of foster a bill to Congress? It would be called the Care of Commerce Act of 1995, but it included block grants for states. We were called to meet at the Department of Commerce with business liaison Karen Danielson. This meeting assigned us was ordered by Daddy's superior, Phil later. 5 p.m. Okay, so JR just got out of his office. He got back from Commerce. And he's like, he just want to relax. But there's Jim at the top of the stairs. So now just climb yourself up here and come watch the news with me. And see, the news was not all that encouraging. A heat wave had struck the Midwest, causing many losses of life in Chicago. President Clinton was going to be having George and Barbara Bush over for dinner tonight at the White House. Alexander Bryant, the agent of the model, had retained Adam Bryant, a cousin on his father's side, along with Chris Martin, Al Davis, Zoe Leifenstein, and Ed Schuster. These 5 lawyers would be a part of his defense dream team when the trial began August the 29th. So, okay, it's 7 o'clock at night. Jared goes upstairs and he's feeling bummed, you know. Kevin was still involved with getting things wrapped up with summer camp. And his dad had told him he wouldn't be back probably until tomorrow morning. He started listening to Dream Theory's Pull Me Under. And some metal and some sad soft rock. Jim and Betsy are enjoying life downstairs, oblivious to what was going on with JR. So it's 9 p.m. and surprise, surprise, Kevin shows up at the mansion. He says, JR, and he applauded him that, he informed that there was going to be a Red Scout rally tomorrow night at 6. The rally will have a dinner with Congressman Chris Ormsby. Of course, JR couldn't do that because he was going to be having dinner with his parents with Constantine Bush. But they said, of course, some of the time. 1 a.m. Eastern, Grandma Elizabeth wakes up with a runny nose. So she goes into the kitchen and asks Rachel to call for the sage deducer. Tell her to go back to sleep. JR. I will always hear my grandma call it sage deducer, which I would later learn was a code word for marijuana. She would use it in the last year of her life. Okay, so it's 3 a.m. Central. Kyle wakes up and goes outside to feed the rounds. Now, 5 a.m. Eastern. JR and Kevin Delano hop into the limo in front of the house to drive to Capitol Hill for the early morning meeting of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Of course, Brad and Jim Bob go in a car service called by Jim Bob. Okay, so it's 5:30 a.m. The meeting takes place. JR is taking notes with Delano, and of course, Brad and Jim Bob, they're collecting the data. So this is briefing files. It's 6 a.m. They drop it off at this house in Wolves Park. I'm owned by a staffer of Jim's Bill Mayer. I tell you, I need one copy of the briefing. The other one's a spare. That's okay. I'll give it to my interns. They'll give me the feedback. I'll call you guys tomorrow. Ready. And really, it's a big one. Okay, so it's 9 a.m. JR is back in his office in the mansion, writing a press release that he was going to send it to Dexter so he could put it on the BBS. At breakfast, Betsy encouraged him to play Christian music to stay in a chipper mood. This would be a common theme. Okay, so at the same time, Jimmy's testifying at the House Small Business Committee. 3 Democratic congressmen lambast him. But surprise, surprise, Congressman Christopher Ormsby defends him along with several others, including the committee chair. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Jim is taking a little dip in the pool. So he had been writing a press release and testifying before Congress. He was now going to be on the Blake Carter show. Okay, so it's 3 p.m. You know, his father's on the Blake Carter show. JR, he's in multi-mode. JR's in multi-mode. And so he goes in the bedroom of his grandmother's apartment. He's trying to read some of his summer reading list, but he gets restless. He had tried calling Karen, but she was reserved and refused to talk to him. Come on, JR! Man, come on! There's other girls out there! Well, Jimmy, don't tell me you haven't been through that before. I know. He first begins listening to some sappy pop music on the radio. And from there, he slides into heavy metal. Man, what's going on? Seriously, Kevin said. There's a Red Scout rally tonight, and Amber wants to see you. I can't. I have to join my parents. We're having dinner with Constantine Butch. Tomorrow night, then. I'm not leaving you here with Brad and Jim Bob. Monopolize your time. Alright, tomorrow night. I hear there's a dinner with a congressman speaking. Also, I'll tell you what. I'll go with you. But understand this. Something else for me tomorrow night. I have to go to some dang boat party tomorrow night. It's work related. Okay, so it's 6 p.m. at the it's White Castle, which is the Constantine Bush mansion in Great Falls, D.C. They're having a dinner, and the conversation is pretty lively. To family and good old friends, Jim said. Betsy, I hear you're moving back to Texas, Hillary said. Well, I'll go with Mama to the oncologist tomorrow. It doesn't look promising, though. So, yes, I'm taking Mama, and I'm going back to Texas, Betsy said. Clinton is a damn fool, backing all these crazy policies, but yet not lifting one finger for small business, Jack Robertson said. At least he welcomed my cousin to the White House last night, Constantine said. JR, do you know what your final paper is going to be about? How this country needs to wake up, restart, Jared said. My boy's got the stones to say that, Jim said. Okay, it's 9 p.m. Limousine arrives at the mansion, and who should appear walking up the walkway? Little Miss Redhead Troublemaker. It was going so good, and now we got to, unfortunately, we're about to have to employ the bell here, because we have a troublemaker on this. You remember several episodes back, there was Holly Hawthorne, and, well, she wanted to be with JR so bad, right? Yeah. She wanted to be with JR so bad. What to do? Whoop-de-doop-de-doo. Well, some bell ringing going on here in a little bit. Okay. And so, Jerry opens his door, and Holly's up there. You can't stay away from me. Charlie Nation told me that you're crazy about me, Holly said. Girl, I don't care what Charlie tells you. You're to stay away from JR. Shut up, Betsy. Jim bellows. Not Jim. Jim. Wake up, dude. This man worked the 20th century, but not the 21st century. Your hypermasculine craziness? Yeah, sorry. We gotta teach you. That bell means we gotta teach you some manners, boy. Alright. So Betsy's mad. Back off! You ran off and broke his heart. And now you dare to want him back? I said be quiet. Okay, so JR runs into his grandfather's apartment. Jim's there on the drive, okay? This is where JR says, JR is he's just gesticulating. Obviously he had too much wine at dinner. Jim! Dude, seriously. Learn when to shut up. When are you going to get through your thick skull? JR don't want Holly. Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh. And so Betsy goes off on Jim. This is all your fault. You think Mama is to blame? Mama is to blame. But you are the one who sends JR on these wild goose chases. And so Grandma Elizabeth emerges from the apartment with her cane. Y'all go in and shut up. And Mrs. High and Mighty Hawthorne, you get out of here before I go to heaven and hit you with my cane. Mrs. Hawthorne. It was a nickname that Grandma had for Holly because she couldn't stand her. And now, she was like me, just as angry at Daddy for having Ollie egg it on. That she wants me. I mean, good grief. James Ryan Hendrick Sr., wake up. Okay, so it's 5 a.m. Jim and Betsy are sitting together in the mansion front lounge. Betsy's reading the prognosis by the oncologist. Her mother was going to see at 9 o'clock that morning. 7 a.m. Kevin brings JR to a Red Scout rally in the morning. Speaking at the rally with Senator K. Bailey Hutchison. Alright, 9 a.m. This is, okay guys, and this is where the sadness starts to come in. I gotta say, these episodes in July, because July, the summer season, I just count those as mini-series, okay? We're going to be entering into season 5 of J.R. Hendrick Texan consort around late August, early September. Also at 9 a.m., they are at Arlington Oncology. They sit down with an oncologist. The measures that we tried didn't produce what we hoped. And Grandma Melissa was like, but I don't want to be hooked up to this therapy. No more. I don't want no more. And Betsy's like crying, Mama, what are you saying? I lived 5 years after your daddy. My time has come. We'll keep you in touch with your own oncologist back in Texas, Dr. Theodore, to see how it progresses. But we can't force her to go through any more therapy. He left with her chart, and so Betsy starts to cry. After Betsy, don't you cry for me, Elizabeth said. I get to cross the Jordan to my family, to your daddy. Okay, so it's 11 a.m. Jim is with an intern, entering some information to the SBA database regarding the measures of sustainability for small business. Okay, 1 p.m. Okay, it's like an ornate, almost courtroom type deal. It's a Senate hearing room. Jim is testifying before the Senate Small Business Committee. Of course, he gets questioned pretty heavily by some of the Democrats, but he has a little help. An Illinois senator by the name of Simeon Peterson, who was what's known as kind of like a Reagan Democrat. Okay, so it's 3 p.m. JR's in his grandmother's apartment, moping. He tries to read from his summer list, but he can't seem to concentrate. He puts some sappy pop songs, and then goes on to heavy metal. Alright, 5 p.m. Betsy summons JR to the front lounge to greet Jack and Lucy Robertson and Scotty Underwood and his date, Sonia. Tell me, son, are you returning to Texas with your mother? Scotty asked. No, Jim said. Yes. When internships ends in August 5th, and I want him working with me for about a week before I let him go back to Texas on the 12th. With so much of your family going away, John, one wonders why you not just resign, Lucy Robinson said. I don't know. The game between me and Quentin is not over. Observers are now available, and on the Anton, the afternoon servant, said, so okay, so the hors d'oeuvres, deviled eggs, jalapeno potato poppers, oysters with cheese and wine. But the latter was one of Scotty's favorites. So when Surprise Thomas, JR's cousin, shows up, and he has some oysters and cheese and wine to get in their conversation. 7 p.m. Dinner that night at the Hendrick residence was steak. Made for two, asparagus, and for dessert, lemon swing. This was a frozen lemon cheesecake with no meringue. Or as my great-grandfather used to call it, no cow slobbers. That makes sense. JR, that boy, I gotta tell you something. He is really going his way over. He scored a 167 on that LSAT. I tell you, I'm as proud as a peacock, Jim said. If I can just get 2 letters of recommendation, JR will be a shoo-in, Jack Robertson said. Tell me, son, what type of attorney do you want to become? Scotty said. Well, I was thinking either being a researcher, or go corporate, or even fight for religious freedom. Seems to be something I'm passionate about, Gerald said. Hold up, JR. You told me when you were a kid you were thinking about going... Wait, hold up, JR. You told me when you were a kid you were thinking about going into the criminal law, Thomas said. And Jim loses it again. Hold your tongue, Thomas. No, I tell you what's going to happen. Once he gets out of law school, at that point, his ass belongs to me. Oh, Jim. You screwed up. You screwed up. Jim? You don't talk about your son that way. In fact, even Betsy, Mama, corrects him. Yeah, Betsy ain't happy, and Mama ain't happy. Nobody happy. So Betsy, she stands up from the table. I thought we had an agreement to let JR choose. I am choosing, Mama. It's a position right out of law school. Dad and I talked about it, and Dad and I talked about it. And although I'm not too fond of it, he's going to let me do it. And I think it's a great idea, Gerald said. What type of law do you want to go into, JR? Betsy, Jim, listen. Wait until he's in his first year. Then let him decide, Scully said. I was sorry in defending Daddy's expectations. I really didn't want to, but the fact of the matter was, it was true that I could not see in 93 what I was considering when I was considering it. Daddy said if I went to law school, I had to go work with him. Okay, so it's 9 p.m. Instructed by Jim. Okay. JR, Brad, Jim Bob, Kevin. They hop in Kevin's, the red Jeep Grand Cherokee, and they're hopping on over to Chesapeake Bay. So it's 9:15, they hop in the Jim's pontoon boat. Kevin gets to drive, not Brad. And JR has to sit up front. So 9:30 p.m. they arrive at Scotty Underwood's yacht. And they make their way up. Someone needs to tell that Texas podunk appointee that there is no way I'm going to support this care of commerce bill. Okay, that was Senator Boxer. Language, Senator. Name calling is going to get us nowhere now. This care of commerce bill would have bipartisan support. Senator Slade Gordon of Washington said, "If you want to play fair, there's the door." Senator Lay Craig said, "Let's be honest. Let's be frank. All four of these interns..." Okay, no, this is Senator Hutchinson. "Let's be honest. Let's be frank. All four of these interns go to Bible studies that I would openly sponsor anytime. And this care of commerce bill can help those who are poor start a business or find a better job," Senator K. Billy Hutchinson said. Okay, so now it's 10 a.m. So led by Senator Hutchinson, the four interns go into this plane, and the pilot starts the engines, and he takes off in the yacht. "You boys did well. I'm proud of you. Like I said, somebody else should take..." Okay, no, it's Jim. "You boys did good. I'm proud of you. Like I said, somebody like you should take this as a line of work. Now, you and the senator meet me at Potomac Airfield." Okay, so it's 10:30. They arrive at Potomac Airfield. And Jim's like, "All right. Not bad," Jim says. "I will look at the electronic vote tabulations on the way. Looks like that the bill passed the subcommittee. But now, you guys got a couple more tasks. One of them is to meet Senator Phil Graham. He's flying into D.C. tomorrow morning. Pick him up, have the pilot and the plane fly off to the same old airfield. One of my friends will look after him. So, we get back into D.C. JR, move it right now." JR grudgingly climbs into his father's Cadillac as the interns get into Kevin Delano's car. Man, Jim, dude, come on, wake up! This is insane. Bell time for you. Seriously, you should learn better how to treat your son. Okay, so now it is the morning of the 20th. 1 a.m., Grandma Elizabeth wakes up out of abdominal pain. Immediately reaches for a tonic with Thomas and Rachel. staying with Rachel's mother in Virginia. They will also be returning to Texas this fall. Elizabeth does what she can to weather through the night. 2 a.m. Jim is in the front lounge drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes. 4 a.m. Okay, that same red Jeep. They climb into the Jeep, and they are going to Baltimore International Airport. 5 a.m. JR and his team of interns arrive at the airport and go to the private jet terminal to find out what time the senator is landing. 6:45 a.m. JR, Brad, Jim Bob, and Kevin Delano board the jet chartered by Senator Graham of Texas, and they go off to themselves and the senator to Potomac Airfield. Now, it's at a.m. when JR was away traveling all over, Betsy had worked on redecorating his office. And Betsy had said she expected JR to be in a bright and buoyant mood today. So what he does, he goes and looks through his reading list for this portable CCTV for the blind. You guys should see those. If you're visually impaired but you got some sight, that magnifies text like you wouldn't believe. One book he stumbled on in his summer reading list was Koch's Phenomenon in Propaganda. The author was Frederick Koch, a giant in mass media from 1967. Okay, so it's 9:20 a.m. Back in his office, Jim's together working on some of the final plans for the Care of Commerce Act. The plan was for early morning, tomorrow morning, for the interns to go directly to the Federal Building in Baltimore for a congressional hearing. 10:10 a.m. JR is working and reading in his office when his cell phone rings. It's Brad. In some way we can thank Brad for this at this point. Alright, JR. Listen. This thing about you and Karen avoiding each other is for the birds. Let's not just talk about work. Come on now. We've been friends for quite a while now, Brad said. Dr. Michelle has taken Karen aside for a real attitude adjustment. You'll see it tonight at the Bible study. Alright. You don't have to tell me twice. I'll be there, JR said. Okay, so it's 10:30, and Jim is having a dream team meeting. Yay, I love these. Hey, your wife did a wonderful job redecorating while we were away. Can I ask you something? Can we put a bar in here? Dave Rosenberg said. Well, let's see. There's a bar downstairs in the mansion front lounge, and there's a bar in the lounge just outside this room, Jim said. Now listen. My pollsters say that this Care of Commerce bill could easily face a filibuster in the Senate. We need to go in uncharted territory, That means we develop a policy for sustainability in small business, not a part of this crazy Care of Commerce Act that the Clintons set up. Mike Pierce said. Oh, shut it, Edward Connington said. Lost Prime Real Estate is that man. Cordell Wheeler, Feinstein, and Boxer are trying to get together a number of Republicans to kill this bill. Okay, so it's 12 p.m. Who should come to the JR's charting in the JR's office was Grandma Elizabeth. Now you listen here, Junior. I'm not going to sit here and hold up and let you go sit here, hold up in this office. All mope. You're getting your swimming trunks, and you're going swimming with your daddy. Grandma, please don't go back to Texas so soon. I could stay here. I can forego my education. Maybe arrive on campus late. Elizabeth cut him off. No, son. Time to go get your swimming trunks and go down into the pool to swim with your daddy. And then you're going to continue your education. That's what your granddad would have wanted. And that's what I want. So 5 minutes later, JR is down in the pool with his father. Well now, my son, welcome to the land of the living, Jim said. I know I've been awfully hard with you, playing rough with you. But you're my boy. I'm just trying to make a man out of you. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. JR's back in his office. He had some lunch and everything. He's reading some small briefs and extracts of the proposed Care of Commerce bill and begins writing some of his parts of the briefing book that was to be submitted to Congress this evening. On July 8th of 95, the House passed the Care of Commerce bill, but now it is before the Senate, and some possible filibusters could be going on. Okay, so it's now 2 p.m. Carmen takes JR to American Conservative Union to see his boss Dexter. Listen, I'm sorry, but Heritage yourselves have had to have some cutbacks. So, that's why your work is being contracted out. In fact, JR, your father's best friend is our next contract. I'll be calling you and speak to you about it Sunday afternoon. So it's 3 p.m. and everyone is seated in the front lounge of the mansion when a friendly voice is heard walking in. Hello, sis, Uncle Tom said. Tommy, my Tommy, why don't you tell me you were coming in? Betsy said, hugging him. Well, I just came here to see Mama. I didn't see what everybody's doing. Diana's helping Amy enroll at Hardin Simmons. So, I thought I might fly by, see y'all for a few days. Well, Uncle Tom, Why don't I pour you a glass of cold lemonade, J.R. said. Why, thank you, J.R., Tom says. Jim, how come we don't drink? Jack Robertson asked. For the same reason J.R. hardly ever drinks. According to the family rules, drinking is unbecoming a gentleman. Of course, her daddy used to drink a lot. So, Junior, your mother tells me that you got a high score on the LSAT, Tom said. Yes, sir. Thing is, unlike the rest of the family, a lot of them want me to do criminal law. I don't think it's a good fit for me, Cheryl said. Granddad trained you well. Now I can tell that you're not like your father at all. Not that he's bad. I'm just thinking you're more of a gentleman. Criminal law is not for you. I love you, Uncle Tom. And I want to represent for the public interest. To put God back in this country again. Okay, I give this episode a scale of 1 to 5. I give it a 4.5 and a glass of cold lemonade. Kara? I give it a 4.5 and a JR. Move it, boy! Alright. Hope you enjoy listening to J.R. Hendrick, Texas and Gentlemen. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the adventure. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying until next time, get ready for the rest of the story. It gets bumpier from here.